Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll forgive me for repeating my favorite phrase, but it does fit perfectly with our top lead this evening. Politics, more often than not, is about perception. It's about public posturing. And if you're a master at the game, then politics is also the art of making a virtue out of necessity. And no one can argue that Arvind Kejriwal is a master at this game. He is. So out he walks from jail on bail on Friday, and on Sunday, he springs a surprise on everyone. He announces that within 48 hours, he will resign as Delhi's chief minister. He also says now the people of Delhi will decide whether he is corrupt or not when Delhi goes to elections. He calls this an Agni Pariksha.
मैं जनता के बीच में जाऊंगा, गली गली में जाऊंगा, घर घर में जाऊंगा, और जब तक जनता अपना फैसला ना सुना दे कि केजरीवाल ईमानदार है, तब तक मैं सीएम की कुर्सी के ऊपर नहीं बैठूंगा। मैं जनता को निवेदन करना चाहता हूं, अपील करना चाहता हूं, अगर आपको लगता है केजरीवाल ईमानदार है, मेरे पक्ष में वोट दे देना। अगर आपको लगता है केजरीवाल गुनहगार है, मेरे को वोट मत देना।
Now, elections are still 6 months away, but the Delhi chief minister wants them to be clubbed with Maharashtra in November. So tomorrow, when Mr. Kejriwal goes to submit his resignation to his arch rival, the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, it will be the second time he would be resigning as CM. He had done it in 2014 as well. The time given for his resignation tomorrow is 4:30 p.m. That is also when the chief minister will be proposing the name of his successor to the LG. Till then, the guessing game is on. There was a meeting today. There will be a meeting tomorrow morning as well to decide on who succeeds Arvind Kejriwal. Now, Saurabh Bharadwaj is in the race to be Delhi's next chief minister, but he isn't the front runner. It seems the pick of the party, and let's face it, Mr. Kejriwal is the party, will be his wife Sunita or the young and articulate Atishi. Manish Sisodia, his deputy, has been ruled out because, like Mr. Kejriwal, he too has cases pending against him. Now, the BJP says Mr. Kejriwal had no option but to resign, as he in any case cannot sign any files or venture anywhere near the chief minister's secretariats on the orders of the Supreme Court.
जब बनाना था तब तो बनाए नहीं। अब जब उनको कोर्ट ने मुख्यमंत्री की सारी शक्तियां छीन ली, तब वो एक दिखावा कर रहे हैं। वो कहते हैं ना कि अब वो विक्टिम कार्ड खेलने की कोशिश करेंगे, उसमें वो माहिर हैं। कब किसको भ्रमित करना है, कब किसको अपने झूठ से प्रभावित करना है, इसमें तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की मास्टरी है। तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी लोमड़ी प्रवृत्ति से अगर दिल्ली को फिर से भ्रमित करने की कोशिश करेंगे, मुझे नहीं लगता कि अब दिल्ली के लोग उनके किसी भी परिचय से अनजान हैं।
Now, here's a bit of trivia when it comes to chief ministers appointing their successors. History shows us that these successors eventually rebel and join the BJP. You can think back to Champai Soren, you can think back to Jitin Ram Manjhi, you can think back to OPS, etc. Perhaps why maybe Mr. Kejriwal will think it prudent to appoint his wife Sunita Kejriwal as the next chief minister of Delhi, but it could be Atishi as well. That, in any case, is a story for another time. For the moment, as Delhi gets ready for a new chief minister, is the move a political necessity or is it a political masterstroke? After all, come to think of it, in one move, you have taken a moral high ground, you have walked away with public sympathy, you have eroded some anti-incumbency, and you have possibly evaded central rule in the national capital. Now, before we wade into the debate, there are some technical questions that need to be answered. So I'm welcoming former CEC S.Y. Qureshi to the show. Mr. Qureshi, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast at the top of 8. Can I start by asking you that Mr. Kejriwal yesterday said that Delhi ka election to November mein hai, but I am requesting the Election Commission to now hold the election in November itself with Maharashtra. Can a chief minister ask the election commission to do that? And is it feasible for the election commission right now, given the sudden announcement, to turn this round and get Delhi to vote in November itself?
Yeah. First of all, a correction. One is that Delhi election is due on the 23rd of February. And maybe Kejriwal said it should be held in November by advancing it. Second thing that you should know, that the election commission routinely clubs the elections which are falling within 6 months. Now, in the next 5-6 months, which are the elections falling? Maharashtra on 26th of November, Jharkhand on 5th of January, and Delhi on 23rd of February. Now, when you club some certain elections, 3, 4, 5 elections, what is the D date? The D date is the earlier date, because Delhi can be advanced, Jharkhand can be advanced, but Maharashtra cannot be delayed even by a day. In the entire 75-year-old of India's democracy, 72-year-old India's democracy, Election Commission has not postponed the election even by a day ever. Because if any government which completes its term, the next day there will be precedence rule, which will be a reflection on the Election Commission's management skills. So they have to anticipate, they have to conduct elections and keep a assembly ready to take over as soon as the term of the current house is over. So now the 3 elections that they routinely, if Election Commission has its say, they will be clubbed. They should be clubbed and they will be clubbed, and they will be held before 26th of November, because beyond that, Maharashtra cannot go even by a day. So therefore, all the other 3 will also be advanced. Therefore, if Kejriwal is suggesting or demanding, he doesn't even have to demand. Probably that is how Election Commission will think and act, and that will happen.
But
that should happen.
But Mr. Qureshi, here's the point. If you read the newspapers this morning, and I'm 100% sure that you did, while the Election Commission has not reacted to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's request officially, they have spoken via sources to say it may not be possible because they have to update some roles. What is that about? Is that just bahanebazi, or if they want to club these elections with the Maharashtra elections, Delhi can actually vote in November itself?
Well, no, the clubbing is expected and natural. And if somebody in the Election Commission has given out this information, it is wrong and not acceptable, because preparation for any state election begins a year in advance. And the dates were known for the last 4 years. The date, how the dates are decided, not when the elections were held. Like Haryana and Maharashtra were held on the same date. But from the first day of the first session of the House. Now, that is why they got separated by Delhi and Maharashtra got separated by 25 days. Now, if you remember, when Kashmir elections were announced, Delhi elections were announced simultaneously, and Chief Election Commissioner gave a very reasonable explanation that he had to separate it from the other 4 elections and link it with Kashmir. Normally, Kashmir State Assembly elections are always held alone, because of their special security requirements. But in this case, they clubbed Haryana with Kashmir, because they would have had to announce the Haryana election in the middle of J&K elections. So that would have been awkward. Therefore, they clubbed it, which was the most sensible thing to do. Now, that leaves us with 3 states. Whether they will be clubbed or not, they should be clubbed. They've always been clubbed. And if they are not, surely there is some politics.
Now, okay. So if these elections, the Delhi elections, which are to be held in February, are not clubbed with the Maharashtra elections in November, tab dal mein kuch kala hai. Then we can question the Election Commission. My last question to you, Mr. Qureshi, before I let you go is this.
1 minute, Shreya.
The people of Delhi have given...
I forgot to answer the question you had raised, whether the excuse that the rolls are not ready. That is not acceptable. Because the dates of the elections were known for the last 4 or 5 years, and Election Commission has to start its preparation a year in advance, which has been happening. To say the rolls are not ready is not an acceptable argument at all.
Okay, so let's see what the Election Commission says. My last question to you, Dr. Qureshi, is this. The people of Delhi voted for the Aam Aadmi Party and gave the mandate to Arvind Kejriwal for 5 years. is he insulting the mandate of the people of Delhi by resigning 6 months ahead of elections? Now, people can say he has nothing to lose. All of that is very fine. He's also taking the moral high ground here, saying अब जनता बोलेगी कि मैं innocent हूँ या नहीं हूँ. The fact is the जनता doesn't have evidence. The court has all evidence, and court has to decide whether he's innocent or not. He's making these, grand sounding statements, but I want to ask you personally, in your opinion, as a citizen of this city and a former chief election commissioner, is he insulting the mandate of the people of Delhi?
No, not at all. Because in any case, look at his circumstances. If I was in his position, probably I would have done the same thing. Now, he is the chief minister, but he has been asked by the Supreme Court not to enter his office, not to touch a file. With this kind of incapacitation, what kind of a chief minister he would have been? Therefore, and in any case, it's a question of a couple of months. If this had happened when there were still 4 years to go for the election, we could have taken it differently. In this kind of a peculiar situation, if he says that he is leaving and that's cheating his voters, that's not correct. Because there are so many other principles involved in it, and he has a right to say that he would rather leave the office than be insulted like the way it is happening now.
Okay, fair point. Dr. Qureshi, always good to hear your voice. Always good to get your wise opinion on matters of public interest. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you. My guest this evening, Neoma Gupta, spokesperson of the BJP. Ashwini Kumar Dubey is advocate of the Supreme Court. Dr. Piyush Joshi is a political analyst, will be speaking on behalf of the Aam Aadmi Party. And Tehseen Poonawala is a political analyst joining us on the broadcast as well. Neoma Gupta, first you had a problem. Not when I say you, I mean the BJP. First the BJP had a problem. Ye chief minister jail mein hai, jail mein hai, jail mein hai. Why is he not resigning? Why is he not resigning? Why is he not resigning? Now he has announced by I am resigning. Now you're saying, aapko usme bhi problem hai.
Hi. So see, everything has to have a timing and a perspective. The intention has to be clear. Mr. Kejriwal, I have multiple questions. Like when Delhi's roads were flooding and people were dying in basements near the electric poles and portals, why didn't you resign then? When you faced when you could have prevented a water crisis, why didn't you resign then? What about when the city sewers, pipelines, everything was overflowing, why didn't you resign then? When the governance was at its worst, why didn't you resign then? It is obvious that this is only motivated to create buzz and drama, because look at the timing. There have been so many attempts on their part to invoke sympathy for the CM, even during the Lok Sabha elections, and it fell flat, resulting in a 7-0 defeat for the Aam Aadmi Party. Instead of introspecting over that, you still continue to project yourself larger than life and you just forget the fact about the misgovernance. In fact, Mr. Kejriwal, just now said that despite being in jail, work in Delhi carried out smoothly and without any trouble. The same day, Ms. Atishi said that since Mr. Kejriwal is out, all the blockages which were happening and the work which was stalled will be removed. I mean, you're admitting to the fact that Delhi went into a state of paralysis when Mr. Kejriwal was in jail. So these theatrics are not a saving grace to anybody. People are done with this type of politics. This is all about the lack of governance and the failure to do your intention. I mean, you're asking for a mandate. What is the previous mandate that you have fulfilled? What is it when it comes to education, potholes, anything? It's been an epic failure.
Okay.
So this timing
so
is
essentially,
but the intention is
but
wrong.
I find this new. Okay. I just find it a little curious when you say, I mean, when the BJP has been saying for the last 2 months he should resign. And when he's resigned, you're saying, Arey, why is he resigning now? This is all drama. Dr. Piyush Joshi, would you want to come in here? Okay. Dr. Joshi, would you want to come here and respond to what the BJP spokesperson is saying?
Well, certainly I have stopped responding to the BJP spokesperson for quite some time now, unless and until they ask certain pointed questions. Because, they will speak of anything and everything under the sun, but they will not address the problems of a much larger magnitude in the states which are being governed by their own chief ministers. We have heard in Gujarat a bridge, a construction of the cost of a bridge was 48 crores, and now the demolition cost is going to be 52 crores. Okay, so and nobody raises a finger upon it. Nobody discusses these things. I come from a state of Madhya Pradesh. I belong to the city of Indore. I've seen Shivraj Singh Chauhan preside through the Vyapam Ghotala, the Raid Ghotala, the Dumper Ghotala, and never a single officer of ED knocked on his doors. So, it is really puzzling as far as Mr. Kejriwal is concerned. I personally would have liked him to continue till the elections were over and till the new chief minister was appointed. But I certainly believe he is much wiser than I am. So I think he's looking for a larger national role. And probably he's going to reconnect the dialogue, which I think he lost a bit because he was in jail for quite some time with the people of Delhi. I personally do not think that it has to do much with the state of Haryana or the Haryana elections as of now. I think it has to do with the state of Delhi because we are seeing that first COVID and then all this liquor policy, alleged liquor policy scam and all that. So probably the dialogue, the direct connect that Mr. Kejriwal has with the people of Delhi took a hit. So he want to establish that he has told कि मैं घर घर जाऊंगा, द्वार द्वार जाऊंगा, मैं बात करूंगा लोगों से वापस और लोगों से अपील करूंगा कि मुझे वोट दें. And he has himself said that he is not going to ask for the dissolution of the assembly. So he has been very clear when he, about what his intentions are, what he wants to do after resigning. Looking to
Dr. Joshi,
play
but
the role
also
of national convener
but Dr.
in a much
Joshi,
larger role.
the okay, but Dr. Joshi, but the fact also is that he has nothing to lose, right? Elections, so in any case, may either in November or in February, so he has nothing to lose. There is anti-incumbency. There are allegations of corruption against him and some of his closest aides. So you walk away with some sympathy. You end up eroding some amount of anti-incumbency and you have nothing to lose. तो अगर बीजेपी कह रही है ये सब politically timed drama है, तो वो भी they are not 100% inaccurate in that, are they?
No, BJP will certainly call it as a drama because Kejriwal was at his unpredictable best when he chose to resign. So nobody expected that thing to happen out of the blue, and it did happen. So he certainly has certain more cards up his sleeve than we would have anticipated. But what I personally believe that Mr. Kejriwal has a lot to lose. What he has to lose, he is holding a very strong majority in the state of Delhi. If that majority is to come down to less than 50 seats in the state of Delhi, then his image takes a hit. So he has to make sure that the Aam Aadmi Party retains the kind of majority it has got in last two Vidhan Sabha elections. And for that, he needs to work hard. Manish Sisodia needs to work hard because ultimately it's at the face value of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and Mr. Manish Sisodia that the people of Delhi are going to vote and not on the face value of anybody else. He can appoint or the MLS can choose anybody as the chief minister. Ultimately, it's the face of Kejriwal and face of Manish Sisodia on which the people of Delhi are going to vote. So he has to make sure that Aam Aadmi Party gets at least 55 plus seats. So if anything less than 55 it's a dent in the image for Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, it's a delicious twist of events, as it were. The Sunday surprise actually foxed everyone. Even the BJP, when they were asking for Arvind Kejriwal's resignation, and I know who's smiling here on the show, even when Tehseen, the BJP was asking for Arvind Kejriwal's resignation, even they won't have imagined that he'll actually end up resigning.
So, Shreya, thank you so much for having me on the show. My first question to Arvind Kejriwal ji when I meet him is, why do this drama on a Sunday? I personally was at a brunch, I had to leave the brunch and come for a TV show. So at least karna tha to Monday, Tuesday ko karte. Acha, Shreya ji, have you ever heard a resignation that will happen in the future? It's like, see, you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. You're not half pregnant. Yeah, parso, tomorrow they will resign. You either resign or you don't resign. You haven't resigned. Now, what will happen tomorrow, Shreya? Let me tell you. And I'm going to be Nostradamus. There are two things that are going to happen. One, all of these MLAs in that MLA meeting are going to start crying. They're going to tell Kejriwal ji, in Delhi's interest, please, you have to stay on. 2-3 of his karyakartas outside may attempt to commit suicide. So Kejriwal ji in Delhi interest will stay on as chief minister. That's one. Or the second thing that will happen is Mrs. Kejriwal will become chief minister. All these names that are going around, Atishi ji, Saurabh ji, etc., none of them are becoming chief ministers. Either Mr. Kejriwal or Mrs. Kejriwal. Now there's a very important reason for that, and that reason is the time screw. The Sheesh Mahal story. You see, I was one, and I've been on your show for Mr. Kejriwal's liberty. I do believe Mr. Kejriwal's liberty is important. I think he was wrongly arrested. I was very strongly with him. But the visuals of Sheesh Mahal, that commode worth lakhs of rupees, those curtains worth lakhs of rupees, when they come out, when a new chief minister goes in, will be very detrimental to Kejriwal ji. The party will collapse. Therefore, it will either be him staying on in national interest or his wife taking it on in the party's interest. But come as that may be, one question, and I want a precise answer. I don't want an answer of what about you. If Mr. Kejriwal believes that the acid test or the real test is the people of Delhi and their elections, which I do agree it is, then why did Mr. Kejriwal not dissolve the assembly? All he had to do is take an appointment from Her Excellency, the President of India, and His Excellency, the LG, go dissolve the assembly, and that's it. The Election Commission is duty bound to call an election. It is no choice but constitutional mandated they have to call an election. Why did you not do that? You're now coming and saying, oh, will you call in elections in Maharashtra? All these are hypothetical situations. The question is, you should have dissolved the assembly for them to force their hand to call an election. That means they don't want to call an election. All they're doing is wasting people's time, like they wasted my Sunday brunch, which I had to pay for and leave and come.
Dr. Joshi, respond to that. That's a good point that Tehseen is making here.
That's a very good point at the face of it, but I would definitely disagree with it. First and foremost, let me assure you that Sunita Kejriwal ji is not becoming the chief minister of Delhi, come what may. So that's not going to happen. If I know Arvind Kejriwal a little bit, if I understand his politics, many have claimed.
I want to place a bet.
Many have claimed and
with Tehseen and you right now. 100 rupees ka.
Yeah, sure. Done. His next Sunday brunch of Tehseen is on me. When
both of you, and both of you have to come to the show. No, both of you have to come back to the show tomorrow then at 8 o'clock. Because this is a bet. Both of you are making a commitment to come back to the show because we'll see who's won the bet.
Absolutely. I have no issues with it whatsoever. Sunita Kejriwal is not becoming the chief minister, number one. Number two, whosoever becomes the chief minister is going to take the mantle forward. It's very important that the chief minister, because lots of promises are still unfulfilled. So things have to be set in motion. Things have to be coordinated with the LG so that at least there is some progress noticeable on those fronts as well. So that is why the work of the Delhi government is going to be taken care of by the new chief minister, and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is going to take forward the political front. Mind you, as a chief minister, there is a limit to the way he is going to protest. Now, as the national convener of a national political party, he can protest all he wants. That is what he loves to do. He can protest against the BJP on the streets of Delhi. He can talk. He can once again go and conduct his Bhook Hartal against the LG. So he's free to do all that. And that is what you require to
if he wants to be protester in chief, if he wants to be protester in chief, he should have quit a long time ago and decided to be protester in chief and let someone like an Atishi or a Saurabh Bharadwaj take over.
Everything has to be under the circumstances. Everything has to be under the circumstances. So under the current circumstances.
Dr. Joshi may know Mr. Kejriwal very well. I know Mr. Kejriwal since the time Mr. Kejriwal was very keen to join the Congress NAC. I know him since then and how he used to wait for Digvijay Singh ji. So let's not go into that history. I have a larger point to make. You didn't ask why the assembly is not dissolved. But if you admit that work is not done and work has to be done by the new chief minister, why is Mr. Kejriwal giving jumlas saying, listen, call the elections in along with Maharashtra in November? So that means you are on one hand, you're misleading the media and people. On the other hand, wise spokespersons like Mr. Kejriwal very well are coming and saying work is not done. So why are you lying to the people of Delhi? Don't lie to the people of Delhi. Say, I am resigning and we've got work to do. Why are you lying?
You're again not the spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party. I am speaking my own mind, sir. I am not the spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party.
So you admit that Aam Aadmi Party is lying. So you admit that you're lying.
So
you admit you're lying.
Tehseen, point is, you know this and our viewers know this, the Aam Aadmi Party doesn't send spokespersons to us. So Dr. Joshi is simply speaking on their behalf. Let's just see sees this here. The point also is, can I just get in Mr. Dubey here, Ashwini Kumar Dubey with us on the broadcast as well. I find this a bit odd when Arvind Kejriwal yesterday grandly said, ये अग्नि परीक्षा है, जनता फैसला सुना देगी कि अरविंद केजरीवाल बेकसूर हैं या कसूरवार हैं, करप्ट हैं या नहीं हैं. My point is, if the Janta was sonaying faisla on people's corruption, that Lalu Prasad Yadav would be the cleanest politician in this country. तो ये भी सोचने वाली बात है कि जनता करप्शन केसेस पे फैसला नहीं सुनाती है. It is the Supreme Court of India that will सुनाओ फैसला on corruption cases, alleged corruption cases against Arvind Kejriwal and his party. But my question to you, Mr. Dubey, is this: has Mr. Kejriwal, by his announcement, tactically then also avoided the centre's rule in India's national capital? Because the Aam Aadmi Party for a while has been saying the BJP is trying to buy off our MLAs. The BJP MLAs have written, in fact, to the president saying there's complete chaos in the national capital. Yahan pe aap president's rule laga do, etc., etc. Has Arvind Kejriwal very smartly, tactically, then also avoided centre's rule?
For last 6 months, from March 21st, 2024, our chief minister was in jail. But Delhi's entire affairs were looking after by either the cabinet ministers or by the LG. There was no precedent rule at that point in time, though the constitutional morality and democratic morality demanded, keeping with the past precedents, that a person who is tainted, he should have resigned if he is in a public post. And we have seen in earlier, Jayalalitha we have seen, Lalu Yadav we have seen, the Kauda we have seen, and other people have seen. Now too. The president will win the remainder
but
period
times have changed.
Less than 6 months.
There is nothing called, it seems there is nothing called morality in Indian politics, because Biren Singh has not resigned. 236 people have died in the last 1 year in Manipur. The railway minister has not resigned. So many train accidents. So ab wo zamana to gaya, sir.
It is not that they were behind the bar. It is not that they were not able to perform their constitutional duties. It is not that the prison manual or the jail manual prohibits them from signing their files. Here is the case. Delhi prison rule says that the signature of chief minister has to be countersigned by the superintendent of the jail, and that is why he did not sign any file. Now, if you remember the Supreme Court's observation while dealing with the remission case, Honorable Supreme Court says that why for last 6 months the remission cases have not been dealt with, and why Chief Minister have not signed it. Now, two, if Chief Minister resigns, the whole cabinet collapse. This is Article 164 mandate. Now, even if as of now, if he resigns, then is this going to change something? Because for the last 6 months, election is scheduled in 2024 in January or February. The elections are there. Now, three. He has an option, as Tahsin rightly said, that either you dissolve the assembly, call for the elections, assembly elections, because 6 months period is there, and the president, the chief election commissioner is duty bound to hold the elections. Why it is not happening? Because it's a drama. Drama karna hai. If he would have been there, he would have resigned 6 months back. When there was a constitutional crisis, when the files were not being signed, and when somebody is appointed to the post of chief minister, the constitution as well as the accountability to the public both demands that the chief minister or elected representative must be there to deal with the day-to-day affairs of the public.
Okay.
ये तो हुआ ही नहीं, बारिश भी निकल गया बगला.
No, but what happens? Okay, but I will. नहीं, वो तो ठीक बात आप बोल रहे हैं, वो तो आप बिल्कुल ठीक बात बोल रहे हैं, but आप कह रहे हैं that a chief minister should be there to discharge his constitutional duty. He should be, I mean, the fact is, even if, my point is this, Biren Singh is a chief minister who's outside jail and has not been able to discharge his constitutional duty. Uska to resignation मांग नहीं रहे हैं, Arvind Kejriwal का मांग रहे हैं. Anyhow, you know, I'm going to do this. We don't know how tomorrow is going to play out. And tomorrow essentially will be about who becomes Delhi's new chief minister, even if it is for 3 months or 6 months. So I'm going to start with Neoma Gupta, and I'm going to let everyone guess, take a calculated or an educated guess on who Delhi's next chief minister is going to be. Neoma, I'll start with you.
So I'm sorry, I can't be a part of this game because when it comes to Aam Aadmi Party thinking, it's beyond my thinking capacity or my inability to think intellectually.
Okay. Ashwini Kumar Dubey?
See, I must say that tomorrow, see, look, what has happened, 4 conditions have been imposed. What I understand as a student of law, Shreya, very candidly and very respectfully, I would submit 4 points, and subject to that you would agree or disagree. But one, the Honorable Supreme Court, while granting him interim bail, have imposed certain conditions कि वो Chief Minister के जो फाइल्स हैं वो साइन नहीं करेंगे unless कि वो फाइल
अरे दुबे जी, मैं तो आपसे सिर्फ नाम पूछ रही हूँ, आप भी बिल्कुल लॉयर हैं, पहले भूमिका मानते हैं हर चीज पे, मैं तो आपसे सिर्फ नाम पूछ रही हूँ. Who Delhi's next chief minister is going to be?
I'm coming to that. Now two.
आ जाइए, बस भूमिका मत बांधिए, हम लोग पत्रकार हैं, सीधे मुद्दे की बात पे आते हैं.
एक शीश महल, दूसरा पार्टी पर कंट्रोल, ये दोनों चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. और वो शीश महल के बाहर के व्यक्ति के पास या पार्टी काडर में से किसी के पास गया तो निश्चित तौर पर, जैसा होता आया है भारतीय पॉलिटिक्स में, वैसा देखने को से मुझे लगता नहीं है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल इतना ऐसा रिस्क लेंगे. So somebody would be from inside.
So okay. So essentially you're saying Arvind Kejriwal will do a Lalu Prasad Yadav and appoint his wife. That is what you're saying. Dr. Joshi?
You know, it's a difficult game with Mr. Kejriwal, but I think Atishi or Kailash Gahlot, one of these two.
I'm placing my bets on Atishi. Tehseen?
Kailash Gahlot. But look, it's Mrs. Kejriwal or it's Mr. Kejriwal. The brunch on Sunday, everyone's invited, including the BJP spokesperson and Ashwini Bai. Because if we get into trouble, Shreya, Ashwini Bai will defend us in court, considering the cases they file in Punjab. Pro bono.
We need the lawyer on our side.
We need the
lawyer on our side. Thank you so much. And Sunday lunch is on Tehseen. तहसीन, ऐसा नहीं कि बोलो ऑफिस की कैंटीन में ही खिला देता हूँ लंच. You'll have to take us to a nice place.
We'll hold him to that.
Okay.
Done.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. This was a good chat. Thank you very much. Neoma Gupta, good to have you on the show. Ashwini Kumar Dubey ji, thank you very much. Dr. Piyush Joshi, thank you. And Tehseen Poonawala, thank you.